What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be giving y'all the pros and the cons when it comes to having locks. Now, I have my locks for about a year now, a year and some change. So I have a pretty good idea of what are the pros and cons when it comes to having locks. Trust me, I think there's more pros than cons. And maybe you're someone who is thinking about starting their lock journey and you want to know what you're getting yourself into. So in this video, I'm going to be telling you some of the pros and the cons when it comes to starting your lock journey. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video. So con number one, the starter lock stage. Some people call this like the ugly phase. Basically, the starter lock stage, I would say, is between the first day you get your locks to about 6 months into your lock journey. And this is just a stage when your hair is getting like maybe really frizzy. You might notice some shrinkage when it comes to your hair. But you're gonna notice like a lot of frizz, and depending on your hair texture, it could be like a good type of frizz and it could be like, you know, a scary type of frizz, if you know what I'm saying. But the starter lock stage is definitely the beginning stages. Your hair is just getting used to budding up, getting used to being in this lock stage. So I think that stage is like a little bit hard for some people, especially if you're impatient, because if you're impatient, like, you're gonna be like, oh my god, I can't deal with this. Like, I want to have a style or something to my hair. But it's really important during that starter lock stage to let your hair frizz up, to let your hair just do what it needs to do in order to lock up. So I think sometimes in the early beginning stages in that starter lock phase, a lot of people get discouraged because it's not looking how they want it to. You know, like, you have all these pictures that you've probably seen of different lock styles on people, and you're like, oh my god, I can't wait for my locks to look like this. And it's like been 3-4 months and you're like, what's going on here? But it's important to stay consistent and to just be patient when you have your starter lock stage in those early stages. Let's go to con number two. Con number two is a little bit controversial, only because I know there's certain laws set in place in some states where this does not necessarily happen anymore to a certain degree. And con number two is professional limitations. I know in certain work atmospheres, having long hair in general is like a no-no. So imagine having long locks. Like, that's like a double no-no. I think in some areas, especially near the South, having locks is not necessarily considered professional. So it could kind of like limit you in certain professional settings, depending on where you work and depending on what you do. I know in certain states they have the Crown Act where it's like you can't discriminate against anyone's hairstyle, specifically when it comes to like twists, locks, and bantu knots and stuff like that. So I know with that law, like, they're not allowed to discriminate you again, like when it comes to housing, like education and different opportunities, which I don't think that necessarily goes on a lot per se. At least I haven't really had that happen to me. Like, I haven't had locks keep me from getting jobs or anything like that. That's just my experience. I know there can be certain situations where people have a certain type of locks, and that could be like discriminated against. But to here nor there, like, that's just my experience. But that is definitely another con when it comes to having locks. Let's go to con number three, time-consuming process when starting. So when you're starting your locks, it could take days for some people to finally get their locks installed. It depends on what type of locks you got. So for me, when I got my locks, I asked for like a small size. So I would want to say it took her no more than like 3 hours, like, for the whole session, like, and that included like the wash and everything like that. So no more than 3 hours for me. But I know, like, if you're one of those people who want sister locks, you know, those tiny little micro locks, sister locks or micro locks, if you're one of those people who want them. I know it's gonna take you days. Like my cousin, she has sister locks, and I think it took her like 3 or 4 days to get hers. So yeah, I definitely think it requires a lot of patience and dedication in the beginning stages to help your locks grow. Let's go to con number 4, which I'm kind of mad because I already touched up on this in the last con. But I would say maintaining your locks. Like, please maintain. I'm going to just emphasize maintain your locks, especially in the beginning. I was always the type of person who liked a cleaner look when it came to my locks. Like, I didn't like them to be frizzy. So when I first got my locks, like, I was like, oh my God, my hair looks so frizzy. Like, it looked like I just stepped out of like the woods or something. Like, it was crazy. But now I'm getting used to like that frizzier look. I think it looks more natural. But I still like a clean look. Like, you could still see my parts. You know, like, it's easy to maintain and like put them up. Like, I don't have to worry about any frizziness getting in the way to the point where I can't even move my hair or like it starts to stink. Like, please do not have your hair out here stinking. Like, that's a big no-no. Let's move over to the pros. Let's move over to the pros when it comes to having locks. Now, I only listed 4 pros, but obviously there's way more pros when it comes to having locks. That's just my opinion. But the first pro when it comes to having locks is low maintenance. Yes, I was just talking about the maintenance as a con, but that's only in the beginning. The maintenance is a pro when it comes to like a long term. Like, you don't necessarily have to get a retwist every month. You don't necessarily have to get your hair retied every 6 weeks. Like, when your locks start to mature, you'll notice when it's time to kind of get that retwist, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes for people it's every 2 months, sometimes for people it's every 8 weeks. I really think it depends on, you know, your hair texture and the type of locks that you have. But I would say it's very low maintenance. You don't have to get up and worry about how you're going to style your hair for today. You don't have to, you know, worry about how you're going to do your hair for trips and everything, which is probably one of the main reasons why I decided to get locks, is because how low maintenance it is. And I remember trying to book an appointment for a trip that I had planned. And of course, you know, these stylists out here don't like to keep their word. You pay them a deposit and then all of a sudden, you know, I can't do your hair on the day that we agreed to do the hair. So I was just tired of like getting canceled on. I was tired of waking up and doing my hair every day. When I did have natural hair, my hair was just up in a bun. So I was like, you know, it's time for me to do something where I can kind of have a protective style and not have to do my hair every day. And the perfect look was locks. I used to do faux locks all the time and I looked good with it. And I was like, you know, I might as well keep this a permanent style. And that's exactly what I did. And I went to get locks. So definitely a pro for me. Very low maintenance. You don't have to worry about doing your hair every day. So if you're like me and you don't want to do your hair every day, get locks. It's going to save your life. Pro number 2, it saves you time. Speaking of not doing your hair every day, it's going to save you so much time in the long run. Like, you won't even believe. You don't have to, you know, get out the shower and it's like, okay, I got to do my hair. You got to brush it up. You got to put a little quick weave. You got to make sure it look this, whatever, you know. Like, it just takes so much time thinking about different hairstyles that you're going to have to get. You know, you got to wake up a little bit extra earlier so that you can get your hair on point so you can walk out looking good. You know what I'm saying? With locks, you don't even got to worry about that. You know, I just take off my scarf and it's like, boom, my hair's already done. Like, it saves me so much time in the morning. And yeah, I really like that aspect. I don't necessarily have to worry about what I'm going to do with my hair every day. And that takes the pressure off me. So definitely a pro in my book. Now moving on to pro number 3. Pro number 3 is the versatility. So I think the versatility comes a little bit more once your locks have matured, at least not as much as the beginning stages. I say once like you're like a year out on your lock journey, you can have a little bit more versatility when it comes to your hair. And I think a lot of people don't think like you could do a lot with locks. But you can do a lot with locks. Like, you can get a whole lace front over your locks. You can get braids. You can get box braids with your locks. You can get twists with your locks. Like, there's so much to do with your locks. You don't necessarily have to just keep them in the lock state. And I kind of like that aspect of it, because I think now that locks are becoming so popular and people are noticing the versatility that comes along with it, I think a lot more people are trying to hop on the lock train and you know, change their hairstyle up and get locks. I would say that's definitely another pro in my book, the versatility of it. Okay, moving on to pro number 4. Pro number 4 is just locks are a unique style, like very unique. You can do different styles that I've never seen with, you know, natural hair that you can do with locks. I think having this unique style also puts you in a different community that you didn't even think of. Like, I see so many people with locks now that I didn't really necessarily notice before, and you know, they notice my locks, I notice theirs. Like, oh my god, I like your locks. And it's like pretty cool, like, to have that camaraderie with people just based off your hair, because I think it really says something for people who have locks, like, you know, especially long locks. It's like, wow, like, I know you put determination, I know you put some years in, I know you know, held it down for however long to get your hair to where it's at. So I think it's just like a really cool and unique style that is, you know, should be held sacred to people in my community. So I hope after seeing this video, if you are still thinking about getting your locks, I hope this video has definitely put you on the pro side, and I hope you are thinking about getting locks and starting your journey. So let me know down in the comments if this has helped you. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed my video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.